Hey, it's Travis. Too many camp directors run just on gut feel. Our free Resilient Camp Blueprint Diagnostic is your dashboard for resilience. Take it today at camp.mba/Travis. Again, that's camp.mba/Travis. What do you have that supports the work and the mission of your summer camp?
This is CampHacker. Come find our show notes and our blog for camp directors and leaders at camphacker.tv.
A big thanks to our sponsors who make the CampHacker podcast possible. You don't lead camp because you love the office, right? UltraCamp has everything you need to manage your program so you can spend more time doing what you love. Manage staff, register campers, take payments, and direct communication all in one place. Find out more at ultracampmanagement.com/camphacker. Great scheduling is the backbone of every camper's experience. But when there's a staffing change, it's almost impossible to fill that role with someone who knows all the nuances a schedule takes. Come check Camptivities out, specifically designed for camps by camp people. Find out more at camptivities.com.
Hello, Camp Mavericks, and welcome to the CampHacker podcast brought to you by UltraCamp and Camptivities. My name is Travis Allison. I am a summer camp marketing and strategy consultant. And we have a very special episode today, and I want to welcome our guests. First of all, a voice that you will recognize. Hi, Ari.
Hi, Travis. Good to be here.
Ari, can you give us just a quick overview of your job these days?
I'm a consultant with JCamp180, and I work to support camps in various business side of camping industry in governance, strategic planning, philanthropy, and overall business services.
Amazing. And our second guest today is Sarah. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're so grateful to have you both here. Sarah, what's your job?
I'm the director of JCamp180. We are the management consulting arm of the Harold Grinspoon Foundation, and we marry grants and consulting work to provide assistance to Jewish summer camps across North America.
Yeah, it is an amazing model that I'm excited to dive deeper into that today. Before we do that, Sarah, you have a strong connection to summer camp, not just being in charge of this wing of the foundation, but you also have a strong connection to camp as well. How did you get started at camp?
I do. I went to day camp at a place called Camp Shalom. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And it was a fantastic camp run at a city park in the 1970s. I was a day camper. And I had opportunities to go to a YMCA camp in Sandwich in Cape Cod, Massachusetts for a summer. I also went to a Girl Scout camp. And then after that, spent 5 years at a Jewish overnight camp, Camp Interlaken JCC. And I was a camper and a counselor and the program director at that camp. In total, I spent 6 summers as a counselor, 2 back at Camp Shalom in Madison, and then 4 up at Camp Interlaken. So hugely formative part of my youth, and love camp.
That's amazing. What for you, Sarah, is a moment of the day that is the essence of what makes camp great? From your experience, just thinking about your camp experiences, what was a moment that really stuck out to you?
I mean, I'm sure you've heard, and in the Jewish camping world, the Friday night Shabbat experience where you're doing Israeli dancing with all your friends. We would always come into the dining hall earlier before all the campers came in, and it would just be our friends dancing and holding on to each other. And there's just a moment of like elation and happiness and joy that is really unmatched. And I think about that all the time.
That's amazing. I think that is one of the most common answers. And I think why you're going to fit in here great, Sarah, is because any musical moments at camp are my favorite moments too. So I'm grateful to have you both here. I wonder, Sarah, if we could just start with talking about the foundation and its purpose and where it originated from.
Sure. The Harold Grinspoon Foundation is the brainchild and the love of Harold Grinspoon. He's a philanthropist based in Western Massachusetts. And he got his start in fact, in real estate. He did not grow up in a particularly observant household. He didn't go to Jewish summer camp, but he has this incredible love of the Jewish people and wanted to give back. And so the foundation has a couple of different focus points. The most widely known is called PJ Library. It is a program that provides free books to children. Every month they get a book in their bedtime stories in their mailbox. And it's really a way to connect and learn about the traditions of Judaism and the wide breadth and variety of what it means to be Jewish, what our traditions are. And it's really become this incredible family engagement tool. It happens all over the world now. Hundreds of thousands of books are distributed. In fact, we just distributed the 50 millionth book across the world. So it's an incredible program. A lot of people know PJ Library, but there are other signature programs. One that I run is the JCamp180, this management consulting department that I talked about. And then there's an incredible program called Life and Legacy, which really helps organizations and communities invest in their Jewish future by supporting afterlife gifts. So it's really about how do you encourage people to give afterlife gifts to Jewish organizations for the continuity of their communities. So those are some of the three main programs. There's other work in Israel, there's work in art and a couple of other initiatives, but those are the main three. And really the purpose is to connect people to Jewish values, faith, and traditions, and the culture to build vibrant Jewish communities. That's really what we're here for.
The overall, yeah. This is my total camp bias. It's like I've heard of JCamp180 for so long, and then it was only last spring I heard about PJ Library for the first time. It's like, that's a really good program, and they're like, yeah,
that's
it's
so
everywhere.
Funny.
And I was like,
it's
I
usually
know,
the opposite.
It's the camp ones for me always.
Yeah,
it's the camp ones for me.
We like that.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear some specifics, and maybe I'll start with you, Ari. The work that you do with organizations, what. I'm going to ask Sarah how camps can get involved in this or can become a part of it. But what are some of the specific things that you've enjoyed, or projects that you've enjoyed that you really felt had an impact on the camps that you were working with?
So I will say that we have a consulting team. I think we're 13 all in our department, Sarah. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so across us, there are a number of consultants with a wide variety of skills and backgrounds. And our team comes from people who have been nonprofit executives, who have been executives in the for-profit and outside world. There's someone on our team who is a chemical engineer by training, a lot of different backgrounds, which is really interesting. And we bring this all to help camps be better in business practices, and whether that is doing board trainings and facilitation with their fiduciary boards or their camp committees, or it's helping them get together to start their capital campaigns. We have a lot of different projects that we have engaged in. I want to say from June 2021 to June 2022, we engaged over 107 different consulting projects with camps.
Yeah.
And one of my projects that I worked on and I had a great time doing is I visited a camp for 4 days over the summer. And this was pre-work for a strategic plan to help identify what are some of the target areas that they're going to want to focus on through the strategic plan. And by interviewing staff, by observing the camp in action, and by meeting with their senior leadership as well as their seasonal staff, I was able to put together a list of core areas to focus on for them as they engage in the strategic planning process this year.
Right. I think I really wish more camps would bring in somebody from the outside, a fresh pair of eyes, and have them spend 2 or 3 days. It's been my honor to do so for probably a couple dozen camps now. And it's always amazing for me, because I just like to get to go to more camps all the time, and that's fun. But I think it's always helpful for people to just have someone look at things from the outside. I've often talked on the show about bringing in a friend of mine and saying, you've never been to camp before, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I want you to see the things that I don't see. And that's how, for instance, we learned that we should really just build a wall around our dumpster. It shouldn't be the first thing that people see when they turn onto the camp drive. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. We moved it there because we're having bear problems, so we need to move it away from where it had a place. But it's like, yeah, that's the first impression. Messy dumpsters. All right, when you're looking... See, I love the idea that you're going in with the fresh eyes, but that you have a perspective, your own camp work and your own camp history. What are the things, like what's a thing that you're looking for that you think people would miss out in the day to day as a new person with a new view of camp?
So one of the things that I focused on this visit was I was trying to understand, one, like, where does camp happen along the site itself? What are the markers of sort of camp, and where's the center of camp? And what I noticed in this visit was I wasn't exactly clear as to like what the main area was where everybody hangs out, where all the action is. And when I started polling people, including the director, there was a lot of like different answers, and that was actually illuminating to them about, oh, maybe this is something for us to think about as part of our site planning in the strategic plan process.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So Sarah, then how do people get involved in the program and become a JCamp camp?
Sure. So I just want to back up a little bit and say why we care about Jewish camp. I think
please.
that's actually instructive, if you don't mind.
No, of course.
Maybe more than 2 decades ago now, or around 20 years ago, there was a pretty important study that came out that started to, and when I was in Jewish camping and when I was in camping, there wasn't a lot of connectivity to a larger infrastructure around fundraising or guidance around governance or strategic planning, which are the 3 main areas in which JCamp180 works. But there was this study that started to articulate that that time spent at a Jewish summer camp was one of the biggest predictors of a lifelong Jewish identity. And that's why the community of funders and others wants to invest in Jewish camp. We know that this time for young people, for campers, but particularly for counselors, is a really informative and incredibly important and powerful time in their lives, and starts to then set a course for them how they live their lives as part of the Jewish community. And so the idea of investing in these organizations became really important, and a lot of people are investing in them. We are investing in, as Ari had said, the business side of it. So the non-Jewish components of it. In fact, we are org development people, the governance. So the board members and the volunteers, we work on strategic planning, and we work to help them accelerate and develop their fundraising plans and goals. Those 3 areas are really the 3-legged stool in which we work.
Thinking about the importance and effect of people's connection to their community, what sort of, this is a bit off of managing the business side of things, but I'm curious if when the study came out, if people begin to think about how kids become connected. If they become more accepting and excited about their faith or being a part of the community, how does that extend when they go home? How are they connected in the same way or in a new way when they go home after they've had this amazing opportunity being with people from all over who share the same?
Sure. Okay. I think it means a variety of different things. It means you're going to potentially have children who identify as Jewish and want to go to Jewish summer camp. It means that you're going to have a lot of more community ties and be sensitive and interested in developing those relationships in your community, whether that's participating in a synagogue or not, or a informal Jewish connection of families. There's so many informal groups now and connections, less institutionally connected, but lots of informal ways. I think it means when you have the strength of having gone to camp, you're going to bring those practices and sets of values and to your home life and to the rest of your community. And I think that's really important.
Agreed. Thank you. Anything you would add to that, Ari?
I would add here that so many of the camps within the Jewish space have a future-oriented tagline.
Okay.
About friends forever or for the future. And the camp I grew up at, their tagline was Journey for a Lifetime. That's Camp Vermont, California. And it's this idea that the camp experience is not contained to the 2 months of summer or to the physical location that camp happens in, but it's really about the community that gets built. And so when I was a unit head, I actually used to tell our kids on the last day, look to the left of you, look to the right of you. The people that you're sitting next to are the people who are going to be at your bar mitzvahs with you, your weddings with you, and they're also going to mourn with you when the time comes. And these are your community.
Yeah.
And so it's about creating those ties for communal living and experiencing that. And it's because it's so intense, the summer experience, it carries through in that way. And these are the friendships that develop and last forever.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. We want to take this second to thank UltraCamp for their sponsorship of the CampHacker Show. Exclusive for CampHacker listeners, you can increase your staff retention by staying in touch with your camp staff all year long. Download UltraCamp's staff communication calendar that includes pre-written prompts for free by visiting ultracampmanagement.com/camphacker. Do you remember why you chose to get into the camping world? UltraCamp knows it wasn't because you loved paperwork. That's why they built a platform with powerful tools to help you keep your program on track without breaking a sweat. Those powerful tools that put you in control of your information include the ability to automate key processes like registration and billing, generate custom reports by showing key insights to you just when you need them. It allows you to easily manage your hiring process with integrated background checks, quickly communicate with your customers and donors. UltraCamp's goal is to help their clients spend less time in the office and more time doing what they love. Do you want to know if UltraCamp is right for you? They offer free customized demo sessions so you can see their software in action. Sign up at ultracampmanagement.com/camphacker. So, Sarah, how does a camp get involved and how can they become a part of JCamp180?
So camps, first of all, have to be self-identified. As Jewish. We don't give them a litmus test. And camps are identified as Jewish in a lot of different ways. They're either connected to a movement like the Reform movement, the URJ camps, or the Ramah camps, which are connected to the conservative movement, etc. So there are a lot of movements in Judaism, as you know. A lot of those movements support camps, but there are also a bunch of independent camps, about 20, more than 20 of them. And their camps connected to the Jewish Community Centers, JCCs of America. So there are a variety of different parent organizations that support camps. If they are self-identified as Jewish and they can articulate their Jewish practices to us, whether it's that they have Shabbat services or they're kosher or they have an Israeli program, there are a variety of different ways in which a camp can share their Jewish practices with us. We don't test them or have a bar which they have to attain. Yeah. And so they can become a part of JCamp180. They really raise their hands. The Foundation for Jewish Camp, which is another allied organization with whom we work, runs a census, an annual census of Jewish camps, both for day camp and overnight camp. And we work with a subset of all the camps in that and there are about 160 of the overnight camps. We work with about 105 of those overnight camps, and we work with about 40 day camps in a variety of different ways.
So, in terms of the camps that we work with, currently, I think we have 100, as Sarah said, we have 105 overnight camps and about 40 day camps that are working with us in various capacities, whether as formal affiliates of JCamp180 or as grant recipients.
Right. All right. And there is there's a big project that you're adding onto the work that you've been doing. Do you folks mind telling me about the big grant and what that means and what you're hoping the outcomes of it will be?
The Grinspoon Foundation grants are characterized by leverage. We offer matching grants. Harold Grinspoon and the trustees really believe that to use the power of grant making in order to help elevate the fundraising and the activities of the camp, and that his dollars and our dollars go further when they're matched.
Yeah.
And it's a really incredible, powerful tool, the power of leverage. So the grants have always been matching grants, and they've been predominantly to support capital projects. I'd said in the beginning, Harold made his name and his predominantly his professional work was in real estate. And so he cares a lot about capital and the asset management of camps.
Yeah.
And had to recognize very early on that nonprofit camps were not potentially as competitive as the for-profit camps. They didn't look as great. They didn't have the same swimming pools or the same really nice cabins. So he wants to support capital, and we do it through a matching tool. So that's a little background on our grant making strategy. When COVID started in March of 2020, it became very apparent that there was a potential existential threat, like many summer camps, that the Jewish summer camps weren't going to run. And what was that going to mean? We knew that they had spent, half of their operating dollars to that point, that they had really banked all this tuition money. So it was just a very precarious financial situation. We know this story really well. It played out across the camping field. And so we made an incredible grant of $10 million called the All Together Now grant in 2020, which was then subsequently matched by the camps 2-1. We, in 2021, we did it again, a second year in a row. Yeah. We secured an anonymous donor to match us. So it was kind of matched twice. So our $5 million was matched by that $5 million. And the camps then again raised another 2-1 match. And then we did it a third year with $5 million. So in total, we've put in $25 million. And to date, all inclusive of that, where the camps have raised about $68 million, which is just an astronomical amount of money. They grew their donor base. They were able to really secure lots of new donors. On average, 75 new donors came into the camps in 2021 alone. So it's been a really phenomenal success. And Harold and the trustees were really looking at this 3 years of campaigns all together now and thinking, how do we continue that momentum? How do we build on that? How do we also give the camps a level of continuity and support and stability over time? So we were very pleased to announce the Forward Together grant. It's a $25 million effort over 5 years. So the camps will get $5 million each year for the next 5 years to support the Jewish overnight camps with whom we work.
That's amazing. Amazing. Right on. So you have some very specific designs and models, and obviously you have this focus half on capital and half unrestricted. But one of the things I'm picking up on that you've always said is you always try to, the grants are always you try to make them matching, because it sounds like you're trying to grow each camp's own ability to do their own fundraising and do just extend the sustainability of their camps.
Right.
Why is that important to the work that you're doing at JCamp180?
Well, it's important in a couple of different ways. I mean, first of all, each camp community has this rich ecosystem of donors, of families, of people who love that community. And what we're trying to say is that community should continue to give back to the camp in a whole different, in a variety of ways. They should become engaged alumni supporting their camp with dollars. It'd be great for them to be ambassadors for the camp, to help support recruitment and enrollment efforts, to provide and help become counselors. Like, there are a whole variety of different ways in which the community can enrich the camp. One of them ultimately is fundraising. And we don't want it. We're not the savior here. Like, there's not one donor. We don't have enough resources to pay for all the capital needs. We don't know we're not part of each of these communities. So what we want to do at the national level is spur and motivate and catalyze fundraising at each camp and within each community. Those communities know best what those camps need and want and the future vision of those camps. We want to support those visions and those communities to execute the plans that they want. And the way to do that is to compel for us to say, look, we don't have all the dollars. We can't support your entire new dining hall, but we can help catalyze it or help close the gap at the end. And your local donors in your community can meet us there. Yeah. So that's why we care about it. And the matching tool also gives the ability to talk to more donors. Like if I said, I will match you, Travis, dollar for dollar, and we will get this new, health center built. Well, I'm dollar for dollar. I'm just talking to you. But if it's $2 for every dollar that I'm giving you, well, then I kind of need to talk to more than just Travis. I need to talk to a lot of other people. Yeah. And so the increasing leverage, in fact, allows us to have these bigger and wider conversations, cast a wider net. Our goal is for camps to be talking to wide groups of larger numbers of donors in order to execute these matching grants.
Yeah. We want to thank Camptivities for their support of the CampHacker podcast. Camptivities remind us that scheduling is hard. It's easy to make mistakes, and it affects every camper's summer. It's time for it all to be easier. You have so many things that you can be thinking about, should be thinking about. Don't wait until May to tackle your activity schedule. Get the schedule set up now. Let Camptivities help you create an engaging schedule without the mistakes in less time, so you can get back to the other, more fun parts of camp. Camptivities does auto scheduling, camper scheduling, group scheduling, elective scheduling, and much more. If you need a way to get your schedule under control, you should check out Camptivities. If you are looking for a better way to schedule the summer, then they want to talk to you. They'd love to show you the next big thing in camp. Visit camptivities.com to set up a time to chat. Let them help you get away from your desk and back out to camp.
One of the phrases that I think we apply to this at JCamp180 is culture of philanthropy. And it's really inspiring and building that in camps. And one of the ways that we do this is through these challenge matches, by having them talk to more people and having to meet these matches at the 2-to-1 ratio or other ratios. We are able to help build that culture of philanthropy in the camps.
Yeah, inspire it and get it rolling. Yeah.
Forward Together will be at the 3-to-1 level. And if you meet the match, we're going to give you an allocation. If you meet that allocation with the 3-to-1 match, you're going to get a bonus of $10,000. So then that bonus doesn't have to be matched. So that's also a little bit of, puts a little bit of friction into the whole system. The All Together Now grants during COVID were at the 2-to-1 level.
And to be clear, the camp is raising $2 for every dollar that you're providing. That's
for Forward Together, they're raising $3 for every dollar that we're providing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I had the angle right on who was providing the $2.
Yep. Who's providing what? Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. So I thank you for that. And we'll give folks, before we finish up here, we'll give folks a chance to find out about the program and how they can apply for it. I want to end off with something a little more specific to a family's experience at camp. What are the sort of projects that you've seen that really enhance the mission that you're going for? Connection to community, all the sort of things that sort of tie everyone together within the project. What are some of the things you've seen camps do that you admire, you think are interesting or creative?
I think one of the best examples is the Ontario camps, the Jewish camps in Ontario. They've done 2 years in a row of a collective day of giving. So they've used the grant from us. They haven't pooled funds, but they've pooled resources in terms of a back-end resource and marketing and communications to do a joint day of giving. They call it co-opetition. And so that's an acknowledgement that they're sort of friendly competitors, but also the notion of all boats rising. Like they know that when they pool their efforts together, we think the Day of Giving and the online tool is a really great opportunity. So that's, I think, a great example. We've seen camps use our dollars for lots of creative year-end strategies, lots of online work. Like they'll say, our online Day of Giving, we're being matched by the Harold Grinspoon Foundation, help us over the edge. Like that's a really great use of our funds. And then on the physical side, we see incredible investments in California and several of the camps that burned down in the past few years. Our grants are supporting those camps. And then really all over the country and Canada, we've seen incredible projects being supported.
Fantastic.
I would just add from our day camp grant pool, which this is a separate grant that we run. We've seen some really inspiring projects, I think, in terms of inclusive playgrounds being built that are meeting the needs of all of our campers of all abilities, and that we've seen communal gathering spaces that they haven't had before to be able to bring all of their camp in an outdoor space together, especially COVID friendly, and be able to have those communal events and spaces that they didn't have before. And so for us, I think that's really cool to be able to see camp happening for everyone and camp bringing everyone together in different ways.
I guess that matches the thing that you saw from the camp that you visited that you mentioned before, like give camps a place for actual community focus. The camp that we ran had a very natural place. The big main building was L-shaped, so there was this courtyard between everything. Everything started and ended there. The beginning of the day, the end of the day, all of those stuff. Sarah, I interrupted you. You had an idea you want to share.
Yeah, what I was going to say about the day camp grants is that these are relatively small grants. They're in the $20,000 range. But it's the notion that smaller dollars can really shine a spotlight on an organization and a project.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of national funding that goes to day camps. And so for us to be able to give these $20,000 grants in the coming year, they will go up to $25,000, has been an incredible opportunity to make these small but quite targeted investments in day camps. We're really proud to do that and excited about the projects that we funded. That's
great. So Sarah, can you let us know how we can point people to apply for the program?
Sure. They can go to our website at JCamp180.org. Coming into JCamp180 to become an affiliate is by invitation only, but we like to hear and learn about camps that we don't know about. So we're happy to learn more about them. And we are planning to bring on more camps as we can. But it's really by invitation only to become a part of JCamp180.
Okay. But when you become a part of it and get the grant, then you receive help like the stuff that Ari's described. You receive a consultant to help walk you through all the steps of it.
Correct. So once you become a part of JCamp180 as an overnight or a day camp, you get somebody like Ari who's assigned to you. We call them, they're consultants, but they're relationship managers. So they really walk you through the full breadth of program offerings that we have, including the grants. And I would say that our day camp grant, which is going to open in the next few months for 2023, is open to Jewish day camps, even camps who are not affiliated with JCamp180. So any day camp that meets a threshold of number of campers and operational weeks can apply for our capital grant for day camps. And we'd be happy to welcome in lots of day camps into that grant.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you both for spending time and talking about all the amazing work that you're doing. I'm so grateful that there are groups that are thoughtful and intentional about the support that they offer summer camps. And to see the work that JCamp180 is doing has always amazed me. And I'm really grateful that you folks do the work that you do.
Thank you.
I want to switch us over, change tones maybe. I want to move us on to our tool of the week.
Tool of the week.
So we invite all our guests when they come to bring something that they think, suggestion or a tool that will help camp directors in their leadership. And as many of you know, these have gone from the sublime to the ridiculous, from the free to the, I still think our top dollar tool is a $40,000 tool. But I've invited Ari and Sarah to do the same. Ari, do you mind starting us off? What is your tool of the week?
So my tool of the week is the idea of time boxing. I'm a big fan of it. This is how I get things done. And what time boxing is it's if you have a big task in front of you, it's actually scheduling the time to do that right in your calendar, as opposed to saying, oh, when I have enough time, I will get to this. But you have blocked it out. You have built it into your schedule. So if you need 10 hours to plan your staff week, you're going to put 2 hours here and 2 hours there, whatever chunk of time, you're going to build in that time in your calendar rather than waiting until you have finished booking your buses to do it.
Yeah. And that way you don't get stuck in the trap of, well, I'm just going to answer these emails. And turns out there's 17 more emails.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Ari. Sarah, I think your tool is it's a great one to end with. So I'm going to jump in with my tool for this thing. And I'll let you go last because I think it's a little, mine may be more ridiculous versus your sublime. My tool of the week is pretty simple, but useful in ways that I didn't anticipate. I have a number of these. If you're watching on YouTube, I have a number of these LED panels that are motion sensitive and they're battery powered. And have them in lots of different places. I have some that plug in that are, again, motion sensitive. So to the right of me, I have what I call my charging closet where all my photo gear is. And I just walk in there and wave and my whole closet lights up and do that. So that's great. But these, I think, would be amazing, whether it is at home or if you have the privilege of living on site in the summer, just to place these in some important spots in case of emergency in the middle of the night. I think bathrooms and under beds are kind of the most often used places of these. They have a magnet in them. They come with a little metal strip that you can double-sided tape to a place that you want. But it's simple but useful, and I think it could have some great applications for camp. You can charge it if you're you have to charge it. A lot of them are battery powered, but if your site doesn't have, or your building doesn't have power, if you're quite a rustic facility, then these are a fun, easy way to give you some safety. And the other recommendation is always, when you're looking for these, they come in different sizes, different makes. I don't have a particular make to recommend, but you want to always look for the ones that say warm light on them. There is cold light, which is very blue, which is a lot like daytime temperature. But if you're thinking about the uses that I'm recommending at nighttime, you want them to be warm light because it won't throw off your sleep patterns. Speaking of sleep patterns and looking after yourself, Sarah, I know it's not about sleep, but it's definitely about looking after yourself. What is your tool of the week?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm on the practical side here. I know that we can't sort of solve all the challenges that are facing camp directors. We know at JCamp180, we hear it all the time about how much the job has grown, how stressful it is. So I have a bite-sized tool that I like to use. It's an app on my phone called 7M. It's a 7-minute workout. And it's got all these little bite-sized workouts that you can do. There's ones for men and women. They're at different levels of intensity. And I think after I do them, I feel really great. And, I think anyone can kind of find a 7-minute chunk in the day to focus on themselves and do a little exercise. Yeah. So that's what I'm recommending. 7M is what it's called.
Does it cost, Sarah?
No, it's free. I think it's a free app. Yeah.
That's part of something excellent.
And it talks to you and it it can sync up. I think there's probably add-ons to it. I don't do all that, but
right.
I like to do it.
Excellent. I do think free tools are a great thing for people to check out, to have the ability to check out. Before I go before I say thank you, I want to just remind folks that CampHacker is just part of the podcasts that are available through the GoCamp Pro network. And we always invite you to check out one show. And I have been so impressed with the thoughtfulness and the intention of the Camp Owners Pod. And what they're doing over there is smart, it's engaging. Even if you're not a private camp owner, there's lots of great ideas there. So we'd invite you to open up your podcast app where you're listening to us, or just check out on our YouTube channel some of these shows there. But please check out the Camp Owners Pod. There's some great, really thoughtful discussions and ideas being shared that I think is helpful to all people, whether or not you are a camp owner. Just to finish things off, again, if you go to camphacker.tv/podcast, you will find our show notes. You will find the link to get in touch with Sarah and Ari and ask them follow-up questions. And if you go to JCamp180.org, you can find the application process and figure out how to get involved in this amazing program and apply for these grants as well. Sarah, thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Travis. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thanks. Ari, it's so great to have you back. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Travis. Always a pleasure to be on the pod.
Yeah, right on. So thank you both. And thanks for the evening, friends.
The Camp Hacker podcast is brought to you by Beth and Travis Allison, summer camp leadership training and marketing consultants. Thanks for listening.
Hey, Camp Pros. We love that our industry is built on sharing. In order to foster that spirit, if you've gotten even one good idea from a Go Camp Pro podcast, a masterclass, from the Summer Camp Pros group on Facebook, at a conference, or wherever else, we ask that you give credit where credit is due. That way, we can encourage camp pros to keep freely sharing their brilliant ideas and make the camp industry better. Thanks very much.
Hey, it's Travis. Camp directors often tell me they're just too tired to take on anything new. That's exactly why my free Resilient Camp Blueprint Diagnostic exists. It doesn't add work, it shows you progress. Quick, free, repeatable, you'll know if your systems are paying off without the guesswork. Try it today at camp.mba/Travis. That's camp.mba/Travis.